agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve our consent agenda.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to our financial report with Mr. Ray.
Everybody should have the August summary financial statement in your board packets. I'll just draw your attention to a couple highlights. Property tax, our actual collections are $68. Property taxes are due October through February, and that's when we'll start seeing that revenue come in from a cash flow point of view. Local option sales tax, remember that June, we accrue, on June 30th, we accrue the prior 3 months of actual sales. We receive those in July, August, and September, but they actually relate to the prior year, so we accrue those. Thus, for the first 3 months of a fiscal year, we don't see any cash flow necessarily on the financial statements. We're collecting that revenue, but we already accounted for it in the prior year. Federal projects, if you look at those financial statements, you might be concerned from a cash flow point of view. We have no revenue, but a lot of expense. And I work with the federal projects funds. I only book it if we receive it. I don't accrue revenue as we earn it. I only book revenue as we receive it. So that helps me to determine how old our receivable is. July and August are real slow collection months for federal funds. September the revenues will start coming in. Due to the increased amount of federal projects that we have for the past couple of years, it's just a bigger number than it usually is in August. But I'm not concerned. I just do it this way to helps me really actually track for cash flow. Any questions on our financial statements? Okay. All right.
Any further questions for Mr. Ray? All right, hearing none. Kim? Oh, I'll entertain a motion to approve
So
our financial report. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further questions or comments? Now, Kim, we'll need a roll call vote, please.
David Quinn.
Yes.
Lori Wilson.
Yes.
Tim Buckle.
Yes.
Joey Smith.
Yes.
And moving on to budget amendment number 1.
In your board packet, you should have a memo from myself that reflects the material aspects of our budget amendment. I won't go over each in detail because there are a lot of them. In summary, to summarize my summary, the federal projects funds, you see them numbered 101 all the way down to 939. All those amendments are just bringing in our budget on our books to match what the state has as a program budget that our supervisors input. And this is the time of year where we get final or adjusted allocations. We also know exactly how much we're carrying over from last year. Our original budgets estimate those numbers because we bring it to you in April and May. So that's why there's so much in federal projects. Any questions on budget amendment number 1?
All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve budget amendment number 1.
Motion to approve?
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further questions or comments regarding budget amendment number 1? Hearing none. Kim, could we have a roll call vote, please?
David Quinn.
Yes.
Lori Wilson.
Yes.
Tim Buckle.
Yes.
Joey Smith.
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to new business, we have our policy 4.603, promotion and retention.
So this is a revised policy that puts us in line with the Literacy Acceleration Act that the General Assembly passed back in January of 2021. But this has in it all of the promotion and retention plans as outlined in the 3rd grade retention law. By approving it does not mean that we agree or disagree with the law. We're just held to follow the law. So unfortunately, Unfortunately, we have got to adopt this policy at this time. I know that there is a lot of discussion that is occurring between lots of agencies, and there's many state reps that are willing to listen to see possibly how this could be amended.
I seen some of that on TV last night where they were talking about they got their own self in this mess.
Yes.
And they're gonna have to try to figure a way to get out.
Yes.
Apparently they're catching a lot of flight.
Yes, they are, and I think that, I really do, I'm hopeful that we will see some amendment and changes in this when General Assembly hits in January, but until then, we have to be in compliance, so this is the revised policy.
I've talked to exactly 0 people who agree with this.
Yep.
Any further questions or comments regarding the policy on promotion and retention?
I just see in the policy, there's a decision for retention for 4th grade as well. Why is, I understand the 3rd grade is the law. Is 4th something else? Is that,
The 4th is also that little caveat in the law that once they go to 4th, they have to make adequate progress as determined by the state. That is in the state law.
and that's
third-
100% of kids? Or is that the kids that,
That is the kids who fell under the 3rd grade retention law. So if they had to go to summer school or they did the all-core tutoring throughout 4th grade year, and then were not retained, we moved them on to 4th grade, and that they did the interventions, but they did not make adequate progress as determined by the State Department, then they would be subject to retention
for 4th?
for 4th. Now, they can't be retained twice, so if they were retained in 3rd, that would not apply to them. What we are being told is 2 different things at this time. That is in the state law. The department has kind of given guidance that then adequate progress could be determined at the district level, and if we were happy with the growth, then we could move them on. So the focus is really on 3rd grade, and honestly, very rarely do we have a kid that doesn't make adequate progress. We do a great job of growing our kids, so I don't foresee that will be a significant issue for us. It's not the growth that we're upset with, it's the actual proficiency, the bar.
Any further questions or comments for Kelly?
I'll make the motion, but I'd sure like to vote no on it, but I'll make the motion to approve.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Begrudging second.
We have a motion and a second. I know it is unfortunately, it's painful to vote on something that you disagree with. However, due to state law and funding and everything else, it's almost, you've got your hands tied behind your back. But knowing that, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Kim, could we have a roll call vote, please?
David Queener,
Yes.
Lori Wilson,
Yes.
Tim Bible,
Yes.
Joey Smith.
Yes.
Motion carries.
What we can do as a board, and Tim and I had discussed this, and I think just given your all's opinions, it would probably be a good idea, is for the November meeting, for if you all are in agreement, I can bring a board resolution to where we could sign a resolution that we are against this state law, and at least it could be submitted with TSBA and TOS and sent to members of the Education Committee. So if you all would like for me to work on that this month, and then you all could approve it next month, I'll be happy to do that.
Yes, please.
I think we
Very much.
definitely appreciate that, and, yeah, we can look at that, in November, when we are,
And that would be a good time for
that
them
will-
to
and then,
receive it.
and then we'll come back and we'll have a board meeting, and then we can send that on.
You think you could check with our cohorts, Anderson County and Oak Ridge, and see if that's something they might be interested in tagging
I
with?
believe Anderson County already has.
Believe Anderson
But
County already has?
I think they have.
Okay,
but I
that's
will-
fine.
I will
I'd-
definitely
If you would just
check.
check, I'd
I will
just
check
be
and
great
make
if
sure.
3 from Anderson County sent it in, or if all 3 of us had.
Yep, I will do that. And honestly, if we work on it, we can actually approve it in November if you all are in agreement with it, and then it could get sent and be in the hands by the time January opens.
And
And
we
we're
can-
seeing lots of school boards do that across the state.
And then, what we can do is, Kelly, if we can get that ready, we can review that the week prior.
Yeah,
And then that
absolutely.
way we'll be coming back,
Mhm.
for the board meeting. And so we'll have something hopefully in writing
Yes.
and ready to approve for the
Yes.
board meeting.
Can do that.
All right.
We need a motion on that, sir. Do we need a motion
We already, oh, for the,
for the letter?
well,
I didn't know
no.
if we needed one or not.
no, to draft one, I don't think that we need one. However, to approve it, to send it, that will be at the next board
Gotcha.
meeting. So
Yep.
we'll need to have it on hand in order to do that. All right, that concludes our new business. Moving on to reports and information.
So we have politely excused the principals from reporting tonight in an effort so that they can go see their children perform. But great things. I've included several highlights in my director's report. So you'll still be hearing about them, but we've excused principal reports tonight.
And your director's report?
You got to close this out first. You want to do the announcements and then I'll do it?
Well, just look over
You
your
want me to-
schedule. We've got, we have our leadership and convention coming up. The next school board meeting will be 1 week later than normal, so that will be November the 17th. And that is our reports and information, so we'll move on to our director's report.
Okay, so a couple of quick announcements for Clinton City Schools. Hard to believe that we are now finishing up the first 9 weeks of school, so we are a quarter of the way through the school year, so that seems very crazy. Time has flown, and it has been very, very busy, but it has been a great start to the school year. I think the principals will agree that it feels more like normal than it has in a very long time, and so that is super nice. For those, we did do a robocall earlier today, and we will be putting on social media just reminding parents that there is no school tomorrow. That did inadvertently get left off of a communication that we sent home, and we have sent home some reminders, but just a reminder, no school for kids tomorrow and fall break next week, so they'll be joining us back on October 17th. So Leanne had a great day at South Clinton today. It was the Clinton Fire Department fall cookout time, and so she was the first to go. And Leanne, you had a good number attend today. Wow, 200 visitors at South Clinton. So that may be a record for South, but the firemen came and they cooked their fabulous burgers that they always do, and it was a great weather day, so you had a great day. North Clinton is going to do theirs on October the 27th, and then Clinton Elementary will do theirs. They are so brave. They're going to do theirs on Halloween, so October 31st will be Clinton Elementary's day. But it's just a great time for parents to come and make memories with their kids, and the firefighters are there, and they're by the grill, and they're interacting with the kids, and it's just a good time. And Scott Ray he invited the city department, the Public Works Department. They're getting ready to do some asphalting for us at South Clinton, so they got invited along with the fire and police today, and so they were extremely excited to be able to come. We also today held a tree ceremony at Clinton Elementary School at 1 o'clock today. Sixth graders attended, and as you know, Clinton is a tree city. And so part of maintaining that status is that they do some sort of educational programming every year, and we partner with the tree board to get that done. And so the sixth graders attended a ceremony. Joey was actually in attendance with that, but then they went out on the back playground, and we have planted a beautiful tree that we hope, Jenna did a great job of telling the children that it was great to plant it, but it's equally as great to stay away from it and let it grow and not hang off of it during playground time. And so we are hopeful that they follow that advice, and our tree lives for many, many years to come. But we appreciate the Clinton Tree Board and the UT Agricultural Department for helping us do that. Then also, we are slated over fall break. As you know, the city of Clinton graciously approved to pay for the new asphalting of our South Clinton Elementary driveway. It is in dire need of that. There is a section, the fire department requested that we carve out a little section when you get to the top of the driveway and you're making a left to go directly in front of the school, to carve out a little section where they can make that turn a little bit more efficiently. And so the city of Clinton actually has come and done all that work. They are going to do the asphalting next week. So hopefully when you return from fall break, there will be a lovely new crack, pothole-free parking lot at South Clinton Elementary. But we do appreciate that is going to end up being about $125,000 donation that the city has made to us. So we certainly appreciate Roger and his team partnering with us on that. The North Clinton digital sign is finally here after many, many months of waiting and being put on hold due to supply chain issues, but it is up and installed, and it makes all the difference in the world. I did, for those of you who remember Matt Murphy, who used to be the principal, longtime principal at North Clinton, he did text me when he saw it on social media, and he said that he was very proud of the sign, but he was very sad to see that sign come down because Coalfield was throwing that sign away, and he got it when he was principal and put it up at North Clinton. So that shows you how old that sign was.
Hand-me-down.
Do you remember when it came? So we had taken a Coalfield throwaway sign, and so now it is replaced with a beautiful digital sign. So that was long time coming. Then just wanted to let you know that we've received 2 gracious donations to North Clinton Elementary, and these people definitely always try to remain anonymous because they don't want any credit. They just love North Clinton. But we did receive a $1,000 donation for the library and then a $6,500 donation from a friend of North Clinton to go to student programming at North. So just a shout out to those people. We could not be the quality school system we are without the continued support of our community members. And then, I'm not sure if I shared this story with you, but we were exploring the drone racing program and wanting to add that to Clinton City Schools. And of course, it always comes to that's not a cheap endeavor. It's a rather expensive startup. And so I told Danny, we'll look into it. I'd really like to do this for our kids. And lo and behold, that afternoon, I had a message from a man at TVA, and he said, I promise this is not a sales call. We're wanting to gift Clinton City Schools some money. And so I call, and they, indeed, it has to do with Bull Run Steam Plant, but they wanted to gift us $7,500 to use towards STEM education. So we're going to take that money and graciously accept it and put it towards our startup program of our 6th grade drone racing program. And then, if I failed to share this with you, I apologize, but South Clinton, we've been looking, Clinton High School got their official state designated STEM. And so we have been looking at, we want eventually all of our Clinton City Schools to receive that designation. But when we looked at South Clinton and the new addition and the ORNL donation where we were able to do the media room in there, it kind of naturally lended itself for South to be the first, and Leanne was ready to jump on board with that. And for those of you who helped with Clinton High School, you know that that's not an easy, it's very intense. And so the process is you do an intent to apply, but the intent to apply process is a year-long process. And so Lori Irwin is spearheading that with Leanne at this point. And so we have filled out the intent to apply, but there will be lots of work that they have to do this year just for the intent to apply before they can actually make the application. And then it is a couple of year process. So we're 2 to 3 years away from actually meeting the criteria for this, but we wanted to go ahead and begin that process. And so our media center is finally coming together. Leanne has a location, the equipment has been purchased, we're getting ready to pick out the furniture, so hopefully within the next few weeks that is going to be up and running. That kind of got put on hold a little bit with the construction because we didn't want the equipment to get damaged and wanted to find the appropriate location for it, but that is getting ready to be off soon. Even though it will be housed at South Clinton, the beautiful thing about Clinton City Schools is that we're all close together. And now we have several school vehicles to where if a small group of students wants to be transported to South Clinton, that will be available to all Clinton City students to use for projects and such. So we're excited about that. And so we just continue to rock and roll at Clinton City Schools. Any questions for me?
All right,
That concludes my report.
all right. Thank you, Kelly. And that will conclude our meeting. I declare this meeting adjourned.
Well, that's not a